Oof.
Yeah.
We are live,
Oh, we're
Mike.
live? We're live.
We are live.
Oh my goodness, live. Well, tonight we got a big show. I mean, tonight's going to be the last episode review of Kenobi.
Yes.
I really appreciate our sponsor who's been helping us for these past 6 episodes. Our friends at Back to On the Go. Remember, Back to On the Go, when you don't have a Back to at home, you will always have Back to On the Go. Now, I got in trouble by the FDA because, well, I didn't
back
really,
to not FDA approved.
well, no, it's just you have to make disclaimers. So,
Oh, okay.
So back to side effects may include nausea, vomiting, water, weight gain, lower back pain, receding hairline, eczema, itchy, chafing, clothing, liver spot, blood clots, ringworms, excessive body odor, uneven tire wear, halitosis, diarrhea, loss of bladder control, hammertoe, the shanks, low sperm count, warped floors, clutter drawers, hunchback, heart attack, low resale value on your home, feline leukemia, athlete's foot, head lice, club foot, MS, MD, VD, fleas, anxiety, sleeplessness, drowsiness, poor gas mileage, tooth decay, split ends, parvo warts, unibrow, lazy eye, fruit flies, chest pains, clogged drains, hemorrhoids, dry heaving, and sexual dysfunction. Remember, ask for it by name.
This is the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, I'm glad he's back, Mr. Ricky Poe.
Oh my gosh. I was just gone.
Yeah, that was it.
I don't know, somewhere around VD, I was gone.
Hey,
Marquise,
welcome,
what
sir.
are we talking about? We are talking about, this week, it is going to be episode 6
That's right.
of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I almost said The
Obi-Wan
Mandalorian.
Kenobi.
I don't know why.
I mean, it's been all about The Mandalorian, but actually, this is, we're going to talk a little bit about episode 6 and kind of give our impressions of the entire story arc. And a lot has happened on this episode.
Yes,
And,
a lot.
So, before we get into all of that, we do have some nerdy news, don't we, sir?
We do have a little bit.
And a little bit tonight.
A little bit. So, one of the things I am kind of excited about is that Hollywood Reporter is saying that Disney Plus has begun work on a Wonder Man series. Now, are you familiar with the Marvel character Wonder Man?
No, I am not familiar with Wonder Man.
Okay, so Wonder Man is kind of a weird character. And the director of Shang-Chi and the writer from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community are grouping up. So
These are two. Wait a minute.
expect it
Now,
to be a comedy.
really, Community and Nine. I love those two shows, so it's going to have to be funny.
Oh, I'm sure this is going to fall into the more comedic side of Marvel.
Oh my goodness!
So Wonder Man has kind of a weird history. He's been around since the 60s, and he actually started as a villain.
Okay.
And then became a hero. And he's kind of had a couple of iterations, but he's really closely tied with Wanda and Vision, because in the comic books, Vision's memories and personality actually came from Wonder Man.
Okay.
Instead
I
of being
this,
a sentient computer system.
So
this
this is not a ripoff from Wonder Woman.
No, it is not a ripoff of Wonder Woman. This is a whole different
So
weird...
he's not wearing tights or a leotard or anything like that.
Yeah, and at some point along his history,
Or his lasso.
Yeah, at some point along his history, basically, if you ripped open his skin, he was basically like an energy being.
Oh.
And he has glowing eyes, so he wears sunglasses all the time.
Yeah.
And he's a Hollywood actor.
Oh, Really? I mean, the action.
Yes.
Okay.
In the comics.
In the comics.
The character of Wonder Man, the guy's name Simon Williams is his real name.
Okay.
And he is a Hollywood actor. He goes to California, he becomes an actor. So if this happens, there's a good possibility we'll get Kingo back from the Eternals.
Oh,
movies.
okay. No, I like that. Yeah.
But which I kind of like.
Yeah,
that idea.
I like that.
Kingo
character.
from
Kingo, yes.
Eternals. Leaves Bollywood, comes to real
that
Hollywood.
That actor is everywhere now. I mean, this guy.
Well,
he's an Obi-Wan.
He's in the Obi-Wan.
Kenobi.
He's in the show
Yes.
tonight.
I
So,
know.
yeah, Dan says that he heard a Wonder Man show was in the works. I'm kind of excited about it.
I am
but
too.
it sounds like this is very beginning talks.
Okay.
Like there's no script yet, but at least it's slated. They're doing some development work on it.
I look forward to seeing that. Yeah.
I think it'll be fun if they do it.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was getting ready to say, I know we've had this conversation and you've been really concerned about this. So I just want to make sure you know that Taika Waititi, whatever his name is, he's ensuring that you will see Thor's butt in the movie theaters. So it'll be unpixelated. You'll see his rear in all his glory. So
why do we need to see Chris Hemsworth rear?
I totally agree. I mean, it's like looking in the mirror every day for me. But so anyway, but
when I look in the rear, it's like seeing two of those. It's really wide.
It's really wide. Okay,
but I did hear that, and I still don't know why. We don't need that. We really didn't need that.
Also, also Amazon is working on technology. Alexa can talk to you in your dead relative's voice. That's right.
That is creepy.
Yes, Amazon announced it's working on technology to recreate the voices of your dead relatives using minimal audio. The artificial intelligence can provide a passable version of someone's voice.
That is creepy.
Yes, that's that's weird. That's weird.
Now, I know you are a fan of Knives Out.
Yes,
the Rian Johnson film.
Yes.
The kind of whodunit movie.
Yeah.
Well, it has been announced that Detective Ben Wapalonk will be coming in a second movie. We've known that for a while. But this week it was revealed the title will be Glass Onion.
Oh, yes. Okay. I've heard something about that. Yeah.
And we are going to have an all-star cast. We're going to see Dave Bautista.
Oh, Dave Bautista, yes.
So we're actually going to see him act.
Oh, awesome.
So hopefully we see more of him than we saw in
Guardians. Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy. We don't.
Yes.
He doesn't do a whole lot of acting in that movie. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And he was in Blade Runner 2049, but he didn't have a whole lot of lines. He did well. So it'll be interesting to see him do some real acting.
Yeah.
Edward Norton is going to be in it.
Awesome.
Catherine Hahn.
Really?
Kate Hudson.
This is a big step up from the first one. I mean, you really didn't have. I mean,
you had Chris Evans.
Chris Evans was in it, and he played a perfect jerk. I'm telling you what, he did.
He did a really good job
of that.
Kate Hudson.
Madeline Klein.
Yes.
That will be interesting.
That's interesting.
This is going to be a big whodunit.
And Ethan Hawke.
Among
others. There will be others
as
well.
So this is big. Daniel Craig is awesome in this, okay?
Oh, yes. And of course, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig is a great actor. He is one of my favorites. And the first time I saw Knives Out, I was watching it. It was on Netflix, and I'm watching it. And it was almost unnerving at first how well his Southern accent was. A very gentleman's Southern accent. I was waiting for.
I say, boy.
Now,
yes, it is just a little
bit like. Okay, go ahead.
What?
Yes.
What is his name? It's the chicken.
The chicken Foghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn from the Looney Tunes franchises.
That is funny.
I say, boy. He's
Yeah.
just a little bit like that, but I do agree. He does a really great Southern accent. That Cajun Southern Louisiana born and bred. He does well.
I'm glad he's doing something different like that. I think he's a talented actor.
Yes,
and
he is.
I like the idea of him not being shoehorned. Just even though I think he's one of the greatest James Bonds, besides Sean Connery, I'm glad that he's able to do other things and be recognized for those other things that he's doing.
Well, we need to make sure we give Dan a good spoiler warning. So because he has not seen the last episode yet. Looks like his dad has COVID and is in isolation. He's waiting for his dad to watch it together. So, Dan, be praying for your dad. I'm so sorry for that.
I'm sorry, man.
And we will definitely give a spoiler warning before we go into that part of the show.
We definitely will. Also,
any other nerdy news?
Well, and on top of Dan's comment, our good friend, the Florida man, Todd V, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying, his wife also positive as well. So we'll keep them in our thoughts, prayer, goodwills, whatever you want to do, but we'll keep them in our prayers. And so, yes, Dan.
Yep. Let us know how your dad's doing later.
So.
Keep us up to date.
Please
do. Let's see. Do you have any other nerdy news? There is one other little thing.
I have one thing, and
Go ahead.
Basically, McGregor and Hayden, they want to do a Kenobi season 2.
Okay.
Yes, it's from the Nerdiest, so they're pretty reliable.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
I have heard similar things. I have also heard that some Disney execs are open to the idea.
Yeah, it's
but there's no green light, no specifics. Speaking of green lights,
yes.
do you want to talk about? Would you want to see another season?
I was really torn about it, but the way they ended was basically Kenobi letting Owen know. Well, I think they set it up where Kenobi can go and do some different things. And
yes.
And I think there's at the age of Kenobi, I think there's a lot of story to tell before he ends up being a hermit, just watching over Luke. So
yeah, I think there's an opening for that.
Yeah.
So speaking of green lights,
yeah.
If you are a fan of Netflix Squid Game, we all kind of knew Squid Game 2 would happen.
Yeah.
Because it was such a big deal the first time. And they kind of left it on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And, and there were rumors that the people that made the original one were definitely down for making a second one. And there was funding that could make it happen.
Yeah.
But Netflix has officially greenlit the production. Awesome. So it is now actually going to happen. As a side note, Netflix is also going to make a live action game show of the Squid Game.
A live action?
I'm assuming people won't actually die.
Yeah, that would be... I'm not going to sign up for that. I mean,
this is a game show I have no interest in being a part of.
XMC version of I don't know about that. Really, is
that is what is that's what I read.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I do too. That's
and it was from a reputable source. So
oh my goodness.
So. Well, I think Dan's on a little bit of a delay. Will there be one? I don't know. I think there's enough push from
I do too.
From the people that were involved that it can happen. Will it happen? I don't know.
I think Disney likes money. I think if they're a big demand, and of course, if you have the two main actors wanting to come back, that's a big deal. So,
if you think it will increase your subscriber base, or that it will continue to hold your subscriber base, then there will be one.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people were torn. I think, at first I thought to myself, let's leave it as it is. But if you want to go off and create your own stories with him, I think that would be fun. And
Yeah.
especially as he's progressed throughout the entire series. And so anyway, we're going to talk about it. I mean, before I get into it, I don't want to spoil anything without our spoiler alerts popping up.
Well,
so
I was going to say, do we have anything else before we go there?
I can't think of anything else. I think we're good as the nerdy news goes. So,
all right. Well, this is your spoiler alert.
There we
We are going to be talking about episode 6.
That's right.
Six.
It's the 6.
Of
It's the 5 and the, it's the 5 and a thumb. Anyway, yes. 5 and a thumb.
Of the man.
4 fingers and 2 thumbs.
I said the Mandalorian again.
That's okay. You are ready for the Mandalorian. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes, so I am ready for Mandalorian season 3 apparently.
Yeah. I mean,
Of Kenobi, episode 6 of Kenobi.
Kenobi.
I'm really excited.
Yes, that's right.
Marquise says Squid Game was amazing, by the way.
Have you seen Squid Games, by the way?
I have.
You seen it? Have you?
My whole family has watched it. We really enjoyed it. It is super grim and dark.
Yes.
And weird and twisty, but we enjoyed it. It was definitely one of those. This is interesting.
You just couldn't look away, right? That's one of
Yes,
those things. Okay.
kind of. It kept leaving you on a cliffhanger. You just wanted to know more. So let's talk about Kenobi.
Well, I think the last time we left off, and you weren't here last week.
When we left our heroes.
But you know what? Last week was so good. You saw the power of Vader. I mean,
Yes.
when he held the starship and he brought it down and he just pulled it right out, that was amazing.
Yes.
In this series, this is the first time I really seen Vader's power. I mean, his intensity.
I was going to say,
his power.
they definitely played up a few things in this series that were put into. I don't want to put a too bad a taste in people's mouths, but they were put into the postquels, the later 3 movies.
Yeah.
So they put them into this show to say those were always possibilities. You just didn't get to see them yet.
Didn't see those, yeah.
So I think that's kind of that's kind of a nice way to do it if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Marquise, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, let me know. I apologize if I am. Let me know how to pronounce it properly. I'm just going to put this out there, guys. I wasn't a fan of this series. It was a letdown for me.
Oh.
I understand that lots of people felt like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think some people, there was a lot of stuff, we talked about this before, the series as a whole, you can poke a lot of holes into it.
Yes.
We talked about before, of course, in Star Wars, where, as fantasy goes, we can go back to episode 4, 5, and 6, which are the original 3 that came out. And of course, there's a whole lot you can poke holes into it.
There are plot holes you can walk through.
So it's kind of one of those things, but it really and it really depends on how much you like prequels as well. And
yes.
So I enjoyed it. There were some episodes I wasn't a big fan of, and some people feel like they had to like wrap it up really quick at the end. But I understand how some people feel about it. I enjoyed the last episode. I thought it was.
I did too.
I thought it was one of the best, but
I thought this was a great episode. It definitely ties up a lot of loose ends.
Yes.
It answers a lot of the critics' questions of, hey, you're changing canon. Well, we fix it in the 6th episode.
Yeah, because there's some
but
stuff
we haven't
there.
told you that yet.
Yeah, there's some stuff there that we can talk about. Some things where you go, because there's a lot of stuff I'm watching throughout this whole. Oh yeah, no, it's.
I think that must be me saying his name.
Oh, okay,
perfect.
great.
I thought that
great.
said it's not perfect, meaning
Okay.
the show wasn't perfect.
Which we agree
we
with
agree
that.
with
I mean, if
the
that's
show not being perfect.
we're not. I mean, look at us. Okay?
Obviously, we're not perfect.
No, we're
either,
not.
Since
No.
I misread it.
But no, I know. We must be having a delay. So anyway, bear with us, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, so yeah, I mean, there's some stuff in it because this is all pre-New Hope. And so there's a lot of stuff in here, especially as we introduce Luke and Leia. And there's some stuff there that makes me wonder as far as New Hope's concerned, where I think to myself, the way people acted in New Hope, it was almost as if they didn't really remembered what happened in Kenobi. It's almost like they're doing the best they can to keep the canon. For instance, and I don't know if we're going to go in any particular order, if we're just going to talk about
We
things.
never do.
We never
so
do.
let's just go for it.
We'll just go for it. So, part of the thing for me is the relationship between Kenobi and Leia, and I love the little girl who plays Leia.
Yes.
Great
yes,
actress.
absolutely.
I mean, she is fantastic, and I think
Yes.
for me, she was a big part of the film. I love the lady. I also like Tala.
Tala, yes.
Tala was the lady who played Tala was a great actress. I really liked that character, and it was sad to see that character go.
I was
'cause,
disappointed.
because I think I think she would be a very strong character for another series.
This is something I was going to say later on. We have some great characters
Yeah.
in this show. We've got Haja,
Yeah, I like him.
and you've got Roken.
Yeah.
And if you had Tala, you could have done a spin-off, The Path.
The Path, yes.
You could have done some kind of spin-off like that.
Yeah.
Kind of Rebels light.
Yeah,
using these
exactly.
3 characters to anchor the show.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been great.
I think with those 3 actors, it would have worked. And the character,
I think so too.
And they both have characteristics that play off of each other. One's kind of the comic relief.
Yes, we got Haja, he's a fake Jedi. He's a thief. I'm definitely all in. I definitely want to help everybody. But if I can help myself at the same time,
in the progress, yes.
that helps. We've got Tala, who is just sold out, and can walk into an Imperial base and look the part.
Yeah.
We've got you've got Roken, who is just the strong leader.
Yeah, natural leader.
It really could have been a great thing. I'm disappointed that they killed Tala. I'm not saying they couldn't, kick something off with just Roken and.
Well, don't forget, there's also Back to On the Go.
Oh my
Back
gosh.
to On the Go. When you lose a character on Star Wars that you
gosh.
really love, dunk them in because they'll live. Back to On the Go.
Always Back to On the Go.
Hey, that's the thing. Back to On the Go is where you can go. Van Cobb. Hey,
Death is definitely
still
not
alive.
permanent in the
No.
Star Wars.
because
This is true.
Back to On the Go. Bring your favorite characters back to life. So,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. I think Haja and Roken could do a show together.
Yeah.
And it would be okay, but I think it would have been better with Tala.
Yeah, I think Tala would be good for it.
as kind of the foil between the two.
Yeah, there was kind of a loose. It was kind of a loose. I want to say romantic undertone between Kenobi and Tala. I mean, there was this. There were this fondness more than anything else.
Yeah,
I know
we mentioned it on the show that she claims that in at least some version of the scripts there was actually a romantic interest there.
Okay, let me ask you.
I kind of feel like the actors remembered that.
Yeah, I think so. Because
and when they were together, they kind of
there was
had that chemistry going on.
They had a chemistry. Let me ask you.
It wasn't written into the script, so it was all undertone. It was all sub. What do they call that? Subplot, not subplot.
Subplots.
It's what actors do when they like actors create their own backstory in their heads that's never written down anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But it helps them play their characters better.
Yeah,
I think subtext. That's what word I was looking for.
Yes.
So there's like this subtext that there was some relationship there, but we never saw it.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you, sir. We'll keep you guys in our thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
And let's put this out there. Third sister acting
was atrocious. I'm not going to go so far to say she was horrible. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
But she does not live up to the other actors in the show by far. She doesn't. Tala was a much better actress.
Yeah.
Haja was a much better character, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just because he was interesting.
Yeah.
He was more interesting than she was.
Yeah.
Her backstory and her story arc is really good.
I do too. Well, and it turned out to be what I was saying. It was a
redemption story. That's
right. That's right.
And we were both wrong. She's not dead.
Yeah, exactly.
We both had that
We both
wrong.
thought she was going to die. I thought she was going to redeem herself, protecting somebody.
And I thought she was going to be killed because she had failed.
She has failed.
So we were both wrong. I mean, she kind of died, but she didn't.
Yeah,
it's one of those nobody on Star Wars,
which I think was weird. How did she survive? Because she has two stomachs.
Apparently,
too?
gut shots just don't kill people.
Don't kill people. I mean, isn't that weird? I mean, it's like, is it because everyone has Bacta on the go?
I don't know.
You just put a little Bacta on your stomach, your gut, and you're ready to go.
If anybody says anybody who complains about there being lots of plot holes, this is it.
This is it.
That people get shot in the stomach. Or stabbed in the stomach.
Yeah.
And they just like get up.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I don't get that. Yeah. So, well, that was the scene last week's scene where she's Vader did her in. I mean, and
yes, absolutely.
She's crawling towards her lightsaber, and then she sees this communique that was dropped by Haja, and she finds out that Anakin Skywalker's son is on Tatooine. Well, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, she's dying. Why? And they never explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
I was the same way. I was kind of like, is she really going to show up? And I was like, they're going to make her show up. I don't know how she's going to live. But
yeah.
So Undead Wiccan, I'm not. It says it's been way too long since I last saw your live broadcast. How have you guys been? We are fantastic.
We are awesome. I mean, if we were any better, we would be, I don't know, we would, if
I was any better, I'd have to be twins.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, because you can't get enough of you just with one person. So, no, that's great. Yeah. Well, I mean, now stop it. Stop it. Stop it. So yeah, I think that's interesting.
I think that's enough beating up on Reva.
Yeah.
I will say I like her story. I don't think she was a great actress, or it was some bad direction. Which this is something that I always come to when I look at actors.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, if I see you in multiple things and you have one epic fail.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of several things happened.
Yeah.
You had bad writing. You were given poor direction, or you just weren't into it.
Yeah.
And you didn't actually put yourself into the part. I don't know which those threes happened.
When I first saw her, and it just, she did not sell me that she was an inquisitor. For some reason, she was angry. She wanted revenge. I knew that.
Which she wasn't. Which actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's one of those. So was she being told to be like this?
Yes, exactly.
By the director.
Yeah.
Don't play cold and calculating like all the other inquisitors.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, and if that's what they did, then that's the director's call. And that's on the director, not on the actress. So I don't know where to put the blame, but I will say in this part, it wasn't fantastic, but I really did like the story.
I did like the
for
story.
her.
Yes, I love that. So talk to me, man.
So I thought this was, speaking of Inquisitors, I thought this was interesting. The head Inquisitor basically calls Vader out.
Yeah, exactly.
And says, we can't let the rebels escape.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to follow them. And he overrules him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, overrules him, and he doesn't force choke him and he doesn't dominate him. He just lets him stand there, and he just lets it go. And I was like, that's very un-Vader-like.
Well, and
I
think maybe it has to do with, maybe he's at the same statue of, let's say, for instance, Admiral Thrawn. If we ever see Admiral Thrawn was, as far as the Emperor was concerned, he was almost Vader's peer. He was that esteemed. And so I don't know, maybe the Inquisitor is the same way. I mean, of course, I've been saying Reva and Reva is her name, right? Because I think you said somebody else.
Reva. I'm not sure.
Okay. So
Reva, probably.
Yes.
Third
Reva.
sister. I
The
can
third
pronounce that
sister.
correctly.
Let's say third sister. So, of course, she was, from my understanding, she was set up from the beginning. So she was used by Vader. So, but anyhow, I think the Grand Inquisitor, I think there is enough, he has enough clout. I think he has enough favor with the Emperor. Now, this is all speculation, but there has to be this sense of respect for this man, who is, who is the Grand Inquisitor, who's leading the hunt for the, against the Jedis. And so, anyway, I don't know. That was interesting too, because usually Vader is very much, "Are you talking back to me?"
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. So
that's what I was thinking. So the other thing I thought was really interesting in the show is there's lots of lines of dialogue, that are just directly pulled out of other films.
Oh, I know.
This line, "I will do what I must."
Goes back to
That's
Mustafar.
a Qui-Gon.
Yes.
That's a Qui-Gon line. That's an Obi-Wan Kenobi line from the movies as well.
Yeah, from Revenge of the Sith when they were Mustafar. I mean, that was pulled from it as well. When Obi-Wan got the chance to meet Skywalker, "Hello there." You can almost hear Guinness in the background saying that, "Hello there." And it was very Guinness-like,
Yes, absolutely.
And so that was pretty cool. But
there were lots of little cool. I did think there were lots of little cool callbacks.
I think so too.
And I think probably my favorite tie it up with a bow thing that they explained that didn't need explaining was kind of the climax of the show. Do we want to go there after the battle?
Yeah, let's go there.
Okay,
yeah,
so
let's do it.
So Anakin, he's got this picture's really dark. So let's see if that one's better. So you can see Anakin's face under the mask.
Yes.
And Anakin says, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did." And this gives us Alec Guinness's famous line.
Yes, exactly.
A pupil of mine killed your father.
Exactly.
Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, based on that line, what Alec Guinness says is accurate per Anakin Skywalker.
Well, and there was in that, and it also reminds me too, back in Alderaan after Leia comes home, And, one of my favorite scenes is where she has a holster that belonged to Tala that was given to Obi-Wan to her.
Yes.
And so she's getting ready and she's getting her formal, outfit on. She has the holster on. And she gets to the platform and she says, are we waiting to meet another snooty cousin? And of course,
Yes.
Kenobi steps out and, and then, there was a really great scene. And I love this scene where Kenobi comes clean to Leia about knowing her parents. And he tells Leia the personality traits that she got from her mother and father. And I think it was written really well. And I think McGregor nails it.
I thought so too. Oh, absolutely.
I think, he says, Leia asked if she'll ever see him again. He says, maybe. This is the key. She said, he also says that no one must know that they already know each other.
Yes.
Which seems to be, and that seemed like a catch-all explanation for why Leia doesn't remember Obi-Wan from the adventures together in the first Star Wars.
It answers that question of why would she not say, you saved my life?
Yes, exactly.
Instead, she says, you helped my father during the war. And this would be now, and there's really, I was thinking about this. There's really two explanations. Yeah. There is this explicit line.
Yes.
And then there's just the idea of, I don't want to sell, if somebody gets a hold of this message,
yes,
I don't want to connect it so much to me.
Yeah.
I want it to appear I'm asking this person that is kind of out there.
Yes.
So speaking of lines of dialogue, Undead said the missed opportunity, and I agree with him, the missed opportunity was not having Vader when he had the high ground over Kenobi and not actually saying back to his former master that I have the high ground.
I was waiting for that scene. I was waiting for that. Now I have the high ground. I was waiting for that.
And I think it's a missed opportunity.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Getting back to that, my goodness, I think everybody was waiting for the Kenobi that showed up for this fight.
Yes.
We really don't know much about Kenobi and the Force after the Clone Wars till New Hope. But,
right.
We see that, they're throwing boulders at each other. They're not messing around.
Yeah.
And, it's a pretty intense fight. And as far as Kenobi, the Force is back. Okay.
Yes.
It's fully back. And one of the scenes where, Vader basically puts him into, pounds him to the ground, and he's in this crater. He's like underneath all this rubble. And it's so funny.
I really should have edited these photos to brighten them up. They're so hard to see.
It is. It's okay.
Someday Star Wars is going to, and Batman is going to make a movie so dark that it's just black screen the whole time with an audio, and we're just going to accept it.
That's the way it's going to be. Everybody's going to have these bright TVs to be able to see what's going on.
We're all going to go to the theater and just watch a black screen with somebody reading an audiobook the whole time.
Yeah, you'll see a lightsaber once in a while, but that's about it.
We mentioned that earlier, Undead, that Christensen and McGregor are both pushing for season 2. I would love to see it. I don't know what the story would be. I think my only concern about having too much story with those two, and getting too much Tatooine involved, is keeping the secret from Vader.
Yeah,
the less they interact with each other, the less
I agree with
the
that.
less likely Vader could know.
I agree with that. I think if anything happens, if I had to write anything, Kenobi would basically go on these adventures, and it would be.
I think so.
It wouldn't be a story arc. It would be the monster of the week type of deal.
I agree. I think that would be great. What I don't think would be good is I don't think it would be good to have a series where, okay, he protected Leia for a series.
Yeah.
Now he's going to protect Luke for a series.
Yeah, that's not.
I don't think that's a good plan.
I think at the very end,
Well, speaking of,
Yeah.
I think they leave it up to Baru and
Owen.
Owen. I
Yeah.
mean, Aunt Beru is a prepper,
Aunt
man.
Beru, man, she is
She is a prepper.
Uncle Owen wanted to take the clan and leave, take the
Yes,
family and leave.
we're gonna run.
And she says, "No, we're gonna stop right here. This is my home. I'm not leaving." And man, she's like Grandma Clampett, man. She is like, and so
I personally really loved the laser shotgun.
yeah, I did
That was
too.
pretty
It was
sweet
cool.
looking little.
You know, it was
little
interesting.
weapon.
It was really interesting, this whole thing, because, you know, in the very first episode, she feels that, you know, Reva sensed that Owen knows something. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's this thing. And then all suddenly she realized, yes, he is protecting the child. And she says something to him, "You really love this child, don't you?" Remember that scene? And to me, it was... I like that scene. It showed that Owen, and I really like the actor. I really like Owen.
Yes.
He is a fully developed person, and
Yes.
and his whole soul is protect the boy. That in his own way, protect the boy. Let him grow up as a boy, which later on influenced Obi-Wan to. You know, in one of the scenes, in one of the scenes, he tells Owen, he says, "Listen, like you said, let him be a boy. Let him grow up and enjoy being a boy, and let the future be whatever it turns out to be." And from there, you know, and so
I thought that was great.
And I think from that point, we open up the door. And of course, you know, we have another Liam Neeson shows up, you know. And we were waiting for that. We were waiting for that.
Everybody was like, "Oh, it'll probably happen this week. Oh, it'll probably happen this week." I'm a little disappointed that it didn't happen early enough that he could actually get direction.
Yeah.
Or actually get clarification or, you know, what do I do, Master? You know,
I mean, it was one of those.
When Luke saw a Force ghost, except for the very last scene of Return of the Jedi, when Luke would see a Force ghost, he would get counsel and direction.
Yeah.
I was disappointed we didn't get that kind of Qui-Gon.
You've heard the argument before how some Jedis do not some Jedis do not get to the point where they actually arrive,
that they can be Force ghosts.
Yeah, be Force ghosts. And I've heard this
I've
argument.
heard that, but I've never heard a good explanation for why one reaches that point and one doesn't.
I don't know.
You know, how do you how do you make sure you get there before you die?
Yes, exactly. I don't know.
I never quite followed that. I like what Qui-Gon says, which I actually think this is a better explanation for why you see some and you don't see others.
Yes.
Qui-Gon says, "I was here all the time. You just weren't ready to see it."
Me. Yeah, see it.
And I think that's actually a better explanation
I think so.
for why we see some Force ghosts and not some others.
Yeah.
It's not that they weren't powerful enough in the Force to be Force ghosts.
Yeah.
It's that whoever they're attached to just isn't at a place where they can see them yet.
Because I want to see Samuel L. Jackson just come out of the blue and start calling people, "You mother F," and bleep, and just, I said, "What is going on here, you mother?" You know, and he just goes off, and you know, I want to see Samuel L. Jackson in the.
So wrong.
I would love that. Anyway,
that's funny, but that is so wrong.
So wrong. So yeah.
Oh my God!
But I could see from there after, in course, you know, we also, Luke, which was a great scene where Owen.
It was a great little.
Where
scene.
Owen allowed him, "Do you want to meet the boy?" And he had the toy, which originally in the first season he wanted to give to him, and Owen threw it back at him, saying, "Leave the boy alone." And of course, this is the same toy that you see in New Hope that Luke is playing with. And so I just thought that was, I mean, I like how they take a nod back or a nod forward to the movie. So
Undead says, could you imagine what other beings exist in the Force that others just aren't sensitive enough to realize they're there? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I think that's a great answer to the question. Marquise says, the Force is infinite and the understanding of it takes time.
Yeah.
Yep. I buy it.
I think so too. I was really good, and you see this, and also you see the story arc. There's several story arcs. Reva, a place of redemption. She couldn't she couldn't. When she was going after Luke, and then Luke, I guess he knocked him. He hit his head, and he was laid out. She saw herself when she was getting ready to take him out. He saw himself. She saw herself as when Anakin was about to take her life, and so I do you think? I don't know.
Do I think what?
Do you
Go
think
ahead.
Reva would? You don't think they're setting up Reva for something in the future?
I think they could. Okay, with everything they did,
Yeah.
there could be a Reva show, but I don't know what the story would be.
Yeah.
Now, now track with me here.
All right.
We go
let's
back about 30 minutes
I'll put my
ago.
seatbelt on, and here we go. Yes.
We've got Roken,
Yes.
and we've got Haja, a fake
Haja, yes.
Jedi.
Yeah.
And, my preference, we would have had Tala.
Tala. Yes.
And now you have Reva join
Yes.
them, and you have a Jedi on their side as this small group of rebels saving Jedi.
Yeah, okay.
You could have a great little Monster of the Week show
You could do that.
where every week they go find a Jedi and save them. The only real problem with all of that is there's the biggest plot hole of all is, why are there no Jedi when Luke shows up?
Yeah, exactly.
9 years later.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
know.
only problem with the idea
Yeah.
of the path, of following that idea
yes.
to its logical conclusion, is there are a bunch of Jedi hiding out somewhere.
Yes.
And why has Luke not managed to find them all the way through his eventual death?
Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Why has he never found them?
Yes.
So, that being said, I think that could be a great way to
Yeah.
get Reva into a series. I feel like her story arc is ended.
I think
don't-
so too. I don't think it's going to
She-
go any further than that.
She laid down the sword.
Yes.
She knows she can't. She knows she's not powerful enough to defeat Vader.
Yes.
She knows she doesn't have she doesn't have enough hate
Yes.
to go after Vader's children.
Yeah.
Where does she go?
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure where the story goes.
Well, that was a good line. Reva tells Kenobi that, she couldn't do it. And she felt like she, killed the boy. She felt like that she let down the other Jedis in that Anakin slaughtered. And of course, Kenobi, with his wisdom, says, you haven't failed them by choosing mercy, Kenobi says. And I thought that was good. Like I said, I knew. We both thought she was going to die, basically. I
Yes.
thought she was going to die, but apparently she lived. Tala didn't. I'm very sad. But anyway, but yeah, there is a lot going on. The story arc, you think, I look at a couple of things like, we talked about earlier, I made notes saying that, the rebel operation, the path is still functioning. And
Yes.
I don't know if, Andor, I don't know if any of these Andor is supposed to be coming out, Will
Now,
these any-
Andor is between this and
Yes, Andor is between, it's
this and Rogue One,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
that could involve the path. We could see Reva show up there, maybe.
Yeah, could.
I definitely love to see Roken or Haja show
Yeah,
up
too.
in
Yeah.
Andor. Now, that is an interesting show
Yes.
because it's going to be 12 episodes. It will be the longest Star Wars live-action show yet on Disney+.
That's something.
12 episodes is a
Wow.
lot.
That was a lot.
And I don't know if they're going. I'm guessing they're going to be closer to 30 minutes, maybe,
Yeah,
instead
I
of
mean,
45-minute
I don't know.
shows. But yeah, I don't know what that's going to look like. But that could be a way for her to show back up. We've already seen trailers, which she hasn't been in, but they would hide that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that will play out. I'll have to wait and see on that one.
On the scene, kind of going back to the duel of fates between Vader and Obi-Wan, was there a point that you were thinking to yourself, okay, man, Kenobi is he's just having his way. And it's like, you could have ended the whole thing right then. I mean, honestly, you could end the whole thing right then. And it was almost like, I mean, good thing, he didn't, because that's the end of the series, like one of those memes, Lucasfilms. But did you give much thought about that? Did you think about that?
Two things there. I really hoped that we were going to see Kenobi say that he feels that there is still good in him.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been a great line. It would have been a great through line.
Yeah.
That Padme said it, he says it, Luke says it. It would have been great.
Yeah.
They didn't go there. I can understand why, because this is kind of the moment of truth for Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
Has he fully committed? And he has. That being said, yes, I agree. He definitely could have just ended it all there. But like in episode 4 of Star Wars, A New Hope,
yes,
he allows himself to die rather than kill him.
Yeah.
So I think that is consistent.
Yeah.
I think it has more to do with Kenobi's mercy than it has to do with the need to end this war. Kenobi is having mercy for some reason.
Yeah.
Whatever that reason is in Kenobi's brain, he believes that as bad as he is, he still deserves mercy. It's kind of the Gollum thing.
Yeah, I got you.
If you go to the Lord of the Rings, you've got, Bilbo doesn't kill him, doesn't kill Gollum, and then Gandalf and Frodo are discussing it, and he says, why would he have not killed him when he? Why didn't he? Do a mercy killing back then. And Gandalf basically says, mercy is what stayed his hand.
Exactly.
So I think that's it. I think it was, you are defeated. You are defeated.
Yeah.
I still have hope that you will come out of this. So I'm going to turn off my lightsaber and walk away. I think that's it.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't really kill him the first time. He left him to die, which I think that's just his way. Like, I can't kill him. I can't be the thing that kills him.
And that makes sense. I think there's still his heart's still for Anakin, and I think there's something to do with that. There was one thing that I really liked, and it's going to go back to the scene where you see there's Anakin, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
There's Anakin under the veil that you can see now, and it was almost the voice. You could hear there was
you
like
could
this
hear
modulate.
both at the
yeah,
same
you
time.
Could hear,
yes,
yeah, and you could
I
hear,
did love that.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, I mean you have Hayden Christensen on one, and then you have Earl, James Earl Jones, kind of mixed in there.
I almost wanted to put on headphones.
Yeah, exactly.
To see if one was in one ear and one was in the other.
I thought that was cool.
Marquise liked my point in reference to Lord of the Rings. Thank you, Marquise. I try.
You do try.
So why did you like that part there?
It was, to me, it was getting to the point where you could still, Anakin was there. It was
Anakin's
almost
still there.
Anakin's still there. It was almost like this split personality, and it symbolized that, there's Anakin is still there. There's somewhere there's some good, but then there's Vader, and who is, we've seen him snapping kids' heads off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's ruthless. So there's something going on there. And this also, if you think about it, and I had a photo and I didn't put it up, but there was a scene where Ahsoka fought Vader, and the same situation happened where part of his mask was exposed during a combat duel between Ahsoka and Vader / Anakin. And I think the shows were the Rebels. And so there was a scene there, and that was a really good scene. And it's almost identical to this scene, live action scene between Kenobi and Vader on this, I guess it's a moon that they're on. So it's interesting. If you get a chance to check it out, that's on the Rebels, and I need to look up what episode that is, but it's almost like a type and shadow of the two. So anyway, and of course, Rebels is after this point. So if you look at the chronological order, Rebels is after Kenobi.
I'm a little confused on that whole timeline. Rebels is after Kenobi.
Yes.
But then Mandalorian is after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So Ahsoka is going to be after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ahsoka, Ahsoka kind of course, it's funny how she's kind of a filler. We go back to between the Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, and then the Revenge of the Sith. Now, between there, that's where she's present between those two timelines, and of course, before
she's fighting the Clone War,
and then of course before the Revenge of the Sith, she leaves the Order because of something that happened that she saw that so she left, and
that's in Clone Wars.
That's in Clone Wars.
The show. Okay.
Now you can look at after the Revenge.
For those who aren't following this is all in the animated series.
Yes, exactly. So then after that, you think of the animated series, and we start getting into, again, we have Endor. There's they have the Endor going on. You have, Ahsoka is. Let's just say Ahsoka goes off. She's no longer part of the fight anymore. Right. But then later on, when the Alliance, the Rebels starts happening, she comes in a couple of episodes. She helps in that sense. She meets Rex. Rex is back, Captain Rex.
Rebels is before A New Hope, or is it during A New Hope and Empire and Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
So it crosses through all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So that was part of what I was a little confused on the timeline.
Yeah.
So Rebels is kind of in conjunction with.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that gives her the ability to fight Darth Vader before he dies.
Yes, exactly.
But then we have her going on the hunt to find Ezra at the end.
Yeah.
And hunt down Admiral Thrawn.
Yes.
Which that all is kind of right at the end of Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, it's after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
And that's where we start with the New Republic. This is after Return of the Jedi. The young New Republic starts. This is where you start seeing the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett.
Gotcha.
You start seeing,
So that was what I was confused of. I had in mind that Rebels was supposed to fit in, but rather than be a side chain. So that makes more sense to me now. Can you tell I haven't watched much Rebels?
No, it's okay. You know what? It's one of those shows that does not stand up against the Clone Wars as far as animation goes. But once you start getting into it, you start seeing a lot of nuggets and a lot of callbacks. And
I've heard the storylines are good.
So the storyline is good. So
but I think my biggest deal is there's a lot of it.
oh yeah, there's a lot of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a one and done. Yeah, you have
there's
because
just
it's
a lot of it.
because there is it's kind of, they have a lot of monster of the week or the you know the baddie of the week, but they're also
if you're listening and you don't know what we mean by monster of the week, that's kind of an old throwback to these old shows where it was you'd have the same characters.
Yeah.
And then each week they basically would have the same exact storyline. They would just have a different monster to fight.
Exactly.
And we use that term to reference shows like this where it's, you know, the storyline may be a little different and there might be some threads that go over an entire season.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the most part, they have one goal during that episode, and that's the goal that they will achieve during that episode. So we use that term for Monster of the Week for that kind of show that is not necessarily continuous. You could sit down and watch one episode, and it would still make sense.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And
which is what The Mandalorian was.
Yeah, exactly.
And not what Kenobi was at all.
No, it wasn't.
It would be difficult to watch episode 3 of Kenobi.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Without seeing 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And for all those haters, Marquise, I know you said you didn't like it. And I'm not including you in the haters necessarily, but those people who just bashed it over and over for ruining canon and everything. Once we had a completed series, most of those complaints
went away.
Are answered. Now, you can decide for yourself whether they were answered satisfactorily or not.
Yeah, exactly.
But they were answered.
Well, we talked about this before. When you have a series that has a story arc and it's not, you know, it's not just separate stories, it's hard to judge the series, especially if you have just 6, you know, you have just 6 episodes and it's almost like a very long movie. So it's one of those things for me. You know, as we review each episode, I had to keep in mind that we have not seen the entire series yet. And of course, it's almost like a movie. You just don't stop part of a movie and do a review. I think it's the same thing how we should treat a story like Kenobi that has an arc where every episode is related to this arc as if we were watching a movie. So that was my opinion.
I agree.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I can understand some of the comments that were, you know, that was made, you know, like Marquise talked about. I mean, I totally understand.
It is not perfect in any way.
It's not.
But Star Wars has never been perfect.
No.
George Lucas always had this plan to make it perfect.
But
and usually he made it worse.
Yeah, he did. He tried too hard, and that's what happened. That's what happens.
That's how we get Han Solo stepping on Jabba's tail.
Yes, that's how we got special
in the
edition.
most unnatural way possible.
Exactly. Somebody was telling me, special edition is awesome. I said, the problem is he used so much CGI during a time where CGI wasn't that great yet. That's the problem, okay?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Because it took me out of it. And I mean, I like the idea of opening up the world. The problem is the CGI, it's not like now. Now, they can blend it in and it doesn't take you out.
Half the time
story,
I don't.
So.
That actually is something I used to say all the time.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee I can tell you when something is and isn't CGI.
Yeah.
More and more, it's getting harder and harder. Watched Shang-Chi behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I thought like there's this bus scene where he's like swinging himself around.
Yeah.
I thought he was a little CGI and they had superimposed him into a scene of the bus running amok. No. No. The bus is real. He is real. Nothing else in that scene is real. The ground is fake. The background is fake. Every car they hit is fake. I had it actually absolutely backwards.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Yeah. So, but that being said, CGI and stuff like that, the digital and visual effects are so much more improved.
Oh, I mean, we talked about this before. I mean, look at the Marvel and especially the Star Wars series on Disney Plus. To me, it's gotten to the point where the quality is almost better than some of the movies I've seen out there. Yeah. And the technology is awesome. I mean, Fabio has done a great job, bringing these technologies together. So I don't know. I really, people talk about, do I want another sequel? Do I want another trilogy of Star Wars? And, of course, after the, past three, I mean,
yes.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm a little concerned unless we go totally a different direction.
Yeah.
If we just go totally different away from Jedis and we just go totally a different direction, then I'd be interested in seeing some of that.
I would love to see 3 more Star Wars movies that have absolutely nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Exactly.
Yes, that is. I don't even know who you would put in.
I have no idea either.
But just let's just move away. I don't mind there being Jedi.
No, I don't either. But I don't want to deal with the Skywalkers again.
Yeah, let's just leave the Skywalkers be. Leave all the original characters be. Yeah. I know Kathleen Kennedy says she learned her lesson from Solo, not to replace characters. That being said, I wouldn't mind seeing more younger I wouldn't want to see a trilogy.
No. But
some one-off films would be okay.
Yeah.
A Lando Calrissian movie with Daniel Glover could be phenomenal.
I think so too. He's a great actor. And he did a great job, and he did a great job in Solo, so I really enjoyed that. Yeah. So
I didn't, I'm not a super fan of Solo, but it was kind of a fun movie.
It was a fun movie, and I watched it for what it was. I mean, it's but yeah, I would love to see, and if we want to, and I'm not talking about what the books are based off these old republics, but I'm talking about the Knights of the Old Republic. Back when if we're going to go back, let's go back.
Let's just go back so far that nothing else.
The Golden Age, goes back. The very
Darth Plagueis.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if we're going to do that, then let's have a real fight between Jedis and Sith.
Honestly, I think that's actually probably a better idea.
I think so too.
Go back into some of this. You could still use some of the lore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the waifs, the whites. I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's this weird lore that exists for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Prequel.
Yeah.
Some of that could be kind of cool.
I think so.
Can we see a young Samuel L. Jackson as a? I mean, that's not quite far enough back. Marquis says all the films 1 through 6 were great, but then they did the other films with Kylo Ren and Rey, and that's when things started to get lost.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
There was, as much as some people really rag on the second film, I actually liked the second film.
Yeah.
Which one was that? That's I get confused. Is that the Last Jedi?
I think so. I mean, The Rise of Skywalker was the last one.
Yeah, so not that one. The second, the one before that, the Rian Johnson one. Yeah. Everybody dogs in that movie, but I actually liked the idea of that movie because, for one reason, they showed the idea that there are Force-sensitive people out there, and it could be anybody.
Yeah.
And I like that idea because that allows you to then move away from the Skywalkers very easily.
Yeah, exactly.
If anybody can be Force sensitive, well, let's find a way to get some interesting Force sensitive people trained to do some fantastic things. And now we can move away from, well, they have to be related. Well, I'm tired of people being related.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I want to see a Thrawn series. Admiral Thrawn. I want to see that series. That we talked about the sequel that should have happened. Okay, you know where I'm going. Okay.
Yes, Heir to the Empire, the original Timothy Zahn books should have happened.
That should have happened.
That should have been the series, and they should have gotten a great director to do it, and made 3 amazing movies because those books are great.
Yes, because I'm sorry, J.J. Abrams, please. I know people. Anyway, go back to Lost and leave my stuff alone. But yeah, I just wasn't. I think there was just too much politics too in the sequels. I mean, I think Harrison Ford, he went it his way, and
you mean politics of the actors?
Oh, the actors, yes.
Okay. When you said too much politics, I was like, Star Wars has always been about politics.
No. Yeah, sorry. I think it's behind the scene politics. It was.
Yeah,
there were too much,
will say,
and I think that's the problem.
There was. I think there was a lot of that. There was,
and they didn't let Mark Hamill have his say and portray Luke as he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of politics there. There was a lot of we want to build up these new characters. Well, that's great.
But
build up the new characters, but if they really wanted to build up the new characters, they shouldn't have had the old characters show up.
Exactly. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Okay, we're way so off.
I think we're off of Kenobi, aren't we? I think this is for another show. I think
it might be.
It might be another show.
Back
that we might
to
do.
Kenobi.
Back to Kenobi, folks.
Do you really want to see a second series? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I am unsure.
Well, wait a minute. You gave me a yes or a no. You can't go in the middle like that. Because you told me yes or no, and I could have done that whole unsure. It depends on how they go about it.
Okay, then I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I am afraid they will. I'm afraid they'll mess it up.
I am too.
I'm going to say no. I hope they don't do it because I'm afraid they'll mess it up.
Yes.
Marquise says no, thank you.
No, thank
I'm with
you.
you, Marquise. I think this one was great. I think this one was fun. It was nostalgic. It hit all the things I wanted to see. I would say it feels like a money grab. But with it being on Disney Plus, that gets weird because they basically spend a whole lot of money to not make money because, I mean, they make money. I don't quite understand this whole. I'm old, and I'm still dealing with how they manage to afford to do these amazing things.
Yeah.
But I also understand if they don't do these amazing things, they'll lose their viewership, which is what happened to Netflix.
Exactly.
Netflix stopped getting and producing amazing things and lost a bunch of followers.
My thing is that, I more Star Wars, more happy I am. Okay. But again,
all Star Wars is good Star Wars. But some Star Wars is better than other Star Wars. That's my Tatooine Sons always says all Star Wars is good Star Wars. My change on that is all Star Wars is good Star Wars, but some Star Wars is better than others.
I can understand the trepidation, something that is so important that leads into New Hope, and you want to be careful what you do. I just would like to see Kenobi go to some adventures and stuff like that. I would see him do different adventures and stuff like that. This has nothing to do with Skywalker. Now you want to talk about, Christian Hayden. Well, he can just be the guy that's always trying to always trying to find him, and and Obi-Wan's that sneaky guy gets away in the nick of time. But I know.
Well, see, that's
So-
part of my deal on why I say, well, like the idea that Hayden Christensen would come back
Yeah.
is this very specific scene, and I was gonna look it up.
I mean, I don't
The
want
Emperor looks and sounds weird.
we forgot this scene.
The
which
Emperor
is-
looks and sounds weird. Is that the same actor?
That's supposed to be Liam. Let me see here. Yeah, it's supposed to be the same
I was
actor
gonna
from
look
my
that up.
understanding.
It just doesn't look
No,
or
it
sound
does
like
not.
him.
It's Ian
Ian,
McDiarmid. So
it is really.
Yes, it's Ian McDiarmid.
Oh, maybe he's just lost a lot of weight or something.
I don't know.
It didn't sound like him. It didn't
Yeah.
look like him to me. Now that being said, this is another one of those quotes from a different movie.
Yeah.
He makes the comment, "Are you sure your feelings are clear on this, Lord
Yeah,
Vader?" or something
exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
And Vader instantly goes, "Obi-Wan Kenobi means nothing to me." Now, if he continues to chase Obi-Wan Kenobi, then he has lied.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or he is truthful and he is following his master, his Sith master,
Yeah.
and he has now gone past Obi-Wan Kenobi and he is no longer worried about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No.
Now, that being said, he does obsess over Luke once he finds out who
Yeah.
Luke is.
Yeah.
So, could he continue his obsession over Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yes, he could. And like you said, it could work where Obi-Wan Kenobi just magically escapes. But at that point, I think Vader is kind of a two-bit character that doesn't.
Yeah, I know.
He's just
Yeah,
a cardboard
I
cutout.
know. I know.
If he doesn't
That's-
actually show up and get involved.
I think if it was just Kenobi himself,
Yeah.
and just going on missions, helping the young
Yeah.
resistance, and then
I
finally
think that could be good.
And then finally to a point where it's like, okay, it's my time to go back to Tatooine. I'm done, and
Yeah.
my job now is to sit there and wait.
Yeah. So one other thing, I know we're kind of running long, but
That's okay. Yeah.
there's something that I was going to, dadgummit.
Yes.
I hate it when my brain just falls out and
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was going to talk about.
Is it bigger than the bread box? Is it
I don't know.
It's a-
I don't remember now.
Yeah.
I guess never mind. I guess
Well,
if
I
it pops
guess-
back into my head, I'll say it.
probably after the
I
show.
do know what it was.
Okay.
One thing that this show has taken a lot of flack on is this comment.
Yeah.
This kind of comment. When's there going to be some Obi-Wan Kenobi in your Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Now, he is in the show a lot, but there's a lot of people out there saying this Obi-Wan Kenobi show really isn't about Obi-Wan Kenobi. What do you think about that?
I think there's a storyline for a lot of different people, but you see the story arc. I mean, really, it's about Anakin dealing with his guilt for what happened to Anakin. I mean, Kenobi, his guilt and what happened, and throughout each episode, he faces that, like Reva. She blames him. And of course, his building himself back up into the Force again. And I don't know. I mean, I think he's in the forefront, as far as I'm concerned.
See, I do too. I think this is an Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, a lot of
is
people are
not the
like,
book
"Well,
of
it's-
Boba-
this is
not the book of Boba
this is
Fett
the
now."
Leia show."
Yeah,
it
no,
wasn't
it's
the Leia
not.
show. Leia, I mean, as great an actress
Yeah,
as she was, and great as character she was, Leia was a
kind of like a
She
vehicle.
was
to allow it. Yeah,
she was just a vehicle that pushed things from one thing to the other.
yeah,
she was the she was the MacGuffin that had to be found.
Yeah.
She was the plot device that pushed us forward, but she wasn't the show.
No.
And maybe it happened more in the first couple episodes because she was so forefront in the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
But I think I do feel like this was a Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I
totally agree.
I think that is an unfair
I
critique.
think so. I think so too. We're not talking about the Book of Boba Fett being Mandalorian 2.0.
I made some comment like that online.
Yeah.
I was like, don't worry. The 4th and 5th episode is going to be all about the Mandalorian.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah.
But
yeah.
What do you think overall? Is it a win?
I think it's good. I think it's a win. I'm like you. I would love more Kenobi, but I'm also concerned about don't ruin what we have. And so, but I like McGregor, and I would like to see McGregor now. So much Hayden Christensen, nothing against him, but I would like to see more McGregor, and I just like him as an actor, and I like how he portrays Kenobi. So,
I'm with you on that. I would like to see Ewan McGregor do some more Obi-Wan Kenobi somehow.
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen, I'm okay with. I mean, if they want to bring Vader back and put Hayden Christensen in the suit, that's fine. But he's not going to really get to be Hayden Christensen. He's not going to get to play Anakin anymore.
Yeah, it's like
he's either going to be all Darth Vader, which is you in a suit and not getting to use your own voice.
Exactly.
Or, I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Why do we bring Hayden Christensen back for another Obi-Wan Kenobi show?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think that's where my big no is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think
with that.
I think it would be hard. You talked about the politics. It would be hard for Disney internal politically to say we're going to have another Obi-Wan Kenobi season. I'm sorry, Hayden. I just don't have a part for you this time.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would be really, really hard for them to do.
I think it'd be a backlash.
I think it would be a huge backlash.
I think it'd be a backlash. I mean, not saying I would have not saying that
I don't
would
have
be
a
against
problem
with it, but it'd be a big. I mean, you want to talk about hate? Oh my goodness.
I
It would
agree.
be
I
bad.
think it would be so bad.
Yeah,
and Ewan McGregor might not do it.
No, I mean that's true. I mean,
because they have created some kind of relationship.
yeah, exactly.
I thought it was a great series. I really enjoyed it. It is not perfect by any means.
No,
I do think the production was very well done.
I think so. Yeah.
I think there was some weirdness in some of the things they decided to go to make practical instead of digital.
Yeah.
And I think it set a lot of people on edge because it looked so out of. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
In the it doesn't look like all the Star Wars we've seen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things were practical that have never been practical before.
Yeah.
Because they've never had the technology to do them that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or because we're on a TV budget and practical costs less.
Exactly.
We can do it faster. Practical is cheaper and faster.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I don't disapprove of. I just think that's something that can be a critique of, the lightsabers look different. Some of the explosions or some of the little explosions when something gets shot on the wall looks weird.
Yeah.
And part of that is because it's not digital. It's actually a squib actually exploded on the wall.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's some of that, and but I know why it was done, and I think it works for this setting. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not perfect. I did like that they kind of wrapped all of the. all of the major plot hole issues that most
Yeah.
people complained about
Yeah.
really were addressed at the end of the last episode.
And I think it was done well. I didn't feel
Yeah.
rushed. I didn't think they tried to jam
No.
it. Yeah.
I didn't either. You may not like the way they wrapped up those
Yeah.
last few things, but I think they managed to do it.
I think so.
Marquise says he gives it a 5 out of 10. Would you give it a number out of 10?
If I had a 10, I would go for, and like I said, it's hard for me to give a 10 on anything, but I'd definitely give it a really strong 8.5.
Okay. I was thinking more like a 7.5 for me. But I don't know that I'm as big a Obi-Wan fan as you are.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I
Nothing
don't know.
personal. I'm
Personal,
more of a Luke
fine.
fan. Luke
Yeah,
was always
well,
my boy.
Yeah.
I was never the mentor. I didn't follow the mentor.
But anyway. Yeah.
Yes, I know he was whiny, but
Oh, whiny little.
I was
brat.
7.
Well. Yeah, so-
Oh man. Well,
I think
anything else?
No, I just want to remind everyone that we are on every Friday. It's
Yes.
7 p.m. Oh, no, don't say that.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern Time every Friday night. You can check us out at speakingnerdy.com, where we have all our audio and video podcasts for you. On Tuesdays, we release our audio podcast on any of your favorite streaming services. Anything to
On
add
Tuesdays.
To that? On Tuesday. What did I say? Did I say
You
Tuesday?
just didn't say what day.
I didn't say what day. I said, okay, Tuesday. So, and what's going to happen next week? I have no idea. Do
I
we
have
know?
no idea. No, because Obi-Wan
We
Kenobi
thought-
ended earlier than we
Earlier.
expected.
Yeah, we had a plan, and the plan got derailed by 2 episodes back to back.
Three
Three. Oh,
technically.
yeah, 3 technically back to back. So, anyway, I don't know. We hadn't seen, the multiverse. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah. Well, Marquise, it was great having you
Thank you,
on the show.
Marquise.
Thank you
Thank you.
for contributing.
Yeah, thank you
we
very
love
much.
to have our audience contribute.
Yes.
Well, we'll be back next week. Anything
That's
else?
right. I think that's it. I think we've milked this as much as we could tonight.
All right. This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Shilley.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. I didn't know
And Bacta.
I didn't know Bacta caused all those side effects.
I didn't either.
I was wondering why I spent a lot of time in the bathroom last night.
I think I'm going to go back to pure